Guys, Puppy's World here. Once again, we've got an update to the Oppo UDP 203. So, bear with me here, and we will go into the living room with a different perspective this time. A female, have you? And we will also talk about what is required to operate the player and what it works best with, and features we like about it, don't like about it, what aspects we are running constantly with it, and what things we would stay away from. All right, so here we have Amy.
Okay, I'm going to explain the pros and the cons that I liked about the... How do you pronounce that correctly, Adam?
Oppo.
The Oppo
UDP 203.
Okay, the number one thing is, it's cool. Right when you pick up the remote, it lights up. So no matter where you are, no matter what time of the day, anything, you can just see it. That's awesome.
That's correct.
And once you plug it in correctly, everything is 4K no matter what is connected to it.
That is correct as well.
The con is, though...
Name's not really Amy, by the way. It's Samantha. But
the con is you have a TV that is a Sony Bravo XBR.
Bravia, yep.
Bravia. It keeps switching to different inputs on its own because it is the top-of-the-line technology, which is really frustrating and irritating when you're trying to set something up because you know how it is. Mm-hmm. You guys know how it is. Okay, and my last thing, this is either a pro or a con, depending on the type of person you are and what your interests are. Mm-hmm. This is honestly, it's your own personal computer / laptop, just on a bigger screen with the remote. Mm-hmm. That's really all it is. And it's a top-of-the-line Blu-ray DVD player. That's really all it is. But with that said, it does have amazing sound and video quality for the streaming. That is amazing. But it sucks, though, because when your computer freezes, this freezes. You guys know how that all works, too. Yep. And the last thing is, like, you think you would be able to stream your cell phone, but you can stream your own laptop computer, which is really odd to me since we're on our cell phones more than our laptops. But those are my pros and cons, and you guys just got to see for yourself, but... We're going to show you as much as we can, and I hope you guys like what you see.
Alright, guys. So, some words about the Oppo UDP 203 is simply what I like about it is the audio, the video, and the 4K up conversion. Now, the 4K up conversion is probably the best aspect of the Blu-ray player itself. Now, mind you, the high dynamic range itself is probably the biggest form of technology they put into this device. So, something that I love about the Oppo is able to stream from your network directly. So, streaming off of your laptop, pulling videos, files, and whatnot. I did a video earlier today. We'll put that up with some editing. It was over a half hour long. We compared Hacksaw Ridge on Ultra HD 4K with high dynamic range. And we did an Atmos test. So this is a different video, though. This is what we like and don't like about it in your average consumer versus an audiophile. What I noticed, she doesn't notice, what have you. So, but some of the things I like about it is I love the fact that it's got a secondary HDMI audio output. I also love the fact that it's got a pure audio button right here. So you can just hit that. It shuts off both displays. So it's any video, it'll just cancel. So one of the other things I like about it is the 4K up conversion, but also simply it is an extremely good DVD player over any other Blu-ray player I've ever seen. It's got exceptional quality in terms of its build, its aesthetics. It's got extremely fast load time. I do know that we all are tired of the older Blu-ray players that you would press power to, and it would take over a minute or two for them to load up and power on. So that day is gone, long and gone with the Oppo UDP 203. So it's pretty fast. I'll open it and close it real quick. You know, so that's the way it is. You know, something I don't like about it is it does require HDMI 2.0 to operate. Simply put, guys, I've tried plugging this in my office utilizing a 2-channel amplifier, Parasound preamp, an Emotiva stereo amp, and an iRulu projector utilizing just traditional HDMI 1.4. And yeah, no video, nothing. No video, no sound, nothing. So you have to have essentially a device that will pass through HDCP 2.2 and 4K video processing. So if you've got a surround sound receiver that'll pass through 4K video processing, you're in the green. Other than that, what other things do you not like about it, I suppose?
What I don't like about it?
Yeah. I mean, guys, the things that I don't like about it are simply, and I'm going to press play here, but the only aspects of it that I don't like about it, and yeah, we did a video earlier with a lot more stuff and light, you know, being talked about the appearance of it, aesthetics of it, and whatnot.
And you asked what I don't like about it. I really do not like the price. I mean, it is so expensive. It is just a personal laptop on a screen with the remote. That's really what it is. I mean, it's for people like us, middle class. I mean, it's not worth it. It's really not. But it's up to you. That's just my personal opinion. But everyone's different, so that's just my opinion.
Right, guys. We are on the 4K train. Obviously, I've bought into the 4K. I'm going to press, not resume here. But, you know, so we're buying into the 4K train. We have a Sony 4K XBR 850C 55-inch TV, but that is the only 4K display model we have besides the Epson, not this one, the other Epson projector. So, you know, there's just not that much in terms of 4K that it's doing for me other than a 1080p display. So, with that being said, this requires the HDCP 2.2. So, you know, one thing that could be said about this, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and pop you on here real quick on the SR7010. But I mentioned this in my other video, but I feel that someone like me is completely concerned with the audio. I am much more involved in audio than I am in the video processing of any device. So it just does a lot for me in terms of audio, but this device is mainly for the video. The audio has me in mind as well, though. So that's what I love about it. But well, once again, it's mainly for the video. At over $600, guys. Yeah, the price I paid for this. I'll keep it, of course. It looks wonderful. It matches with my equipment. Of course, I will not keep it stacked on top of my receiver like that. However, one thing that I do know is I love Dolby Atmos, and this is a completely capable Dolby Atmos device for source material. And one thing that I'm going to say about it, guys, is I'm going to coin the term Dolby Atmos is required to operate this Blu-ray player. What I mean by that, and could you turn off the light really quick?
Allergies, this is really what it is.
All right. The sound, Dolby Atmos, is what we're going for here, guys. Also, of course, with the Oppo, you're going for 4K image and high dynamic range. So this thing is mainly, you know, built for its high dynamic range and its 4K capability. I love the fact that it passes through everything in 4K. Now, did we talk about that simply before? How everything that is plugged into it goes into 4K. Not simply DVDs, and its 3D capabilities, guys, we've yet to do a video on. We're going to be doing Epson with 2D to 3D conversion because, unfortunately, it does not upconvert something from 2D to 3D. However, everything, I've talked about this in my last video, everything that is plugged in to this DVD player and or receiver, so even with the DVD player turned off, I have my cable box plugged into the back of the receiver, it is upconverting that feed to 4K. That's amazing. However, for Atmos, there's only a couple DVD players out there that do Atmos. Blu-ray players, of course, they are 4K. The PS4 is not one of them. The PS4, you could put a 4K Blu-ray in there, and it will not do Atmos. However, Dolby is having a vision and high dynamic range upgrade coming out via firmware for the PS4 and Xbox One soon, and also Sony projectors will be soon to get it. But you know, you're going to need something that almost has Dolby Atmos capability to use this Blu-ray player. Why? Because Dolby Atmos requires the HD CP 2.2 and the 4K, the HD HDMI 2.0 all around. So, you know, if you're going to have Dolby Atmos, you're going to be able to run this Blu-ray player, almost guaranteed. If you don't have Dolby Atmos, it's not a guarantee that you can't run this Blu-ray player. However, it's just something that I really feel is meant for the audiophile, but more or less built for video in mind. So, it's got amazing qualities in terms of the video, guys. We did, you know, we did a video on the pure picture quality of it, and comparing the two images here. We've got the 4K display, and then we've got a regular 1080p projected image right on the wall. There's no screen here whatsoever. That is right on the wall. I've yet to use a screen upstairs with my iRulu projector, cheapest being, and my Epson in here. So I've yet to use the screens. But yes, guys, connected to my Epson, or I'm sorry, my iRulu, it did not work. So it's going to have to be connected to something that can do 4K, and or a receiver is going to have to be Dolby Atmos. So, something else about it, I think that it should be able to connect to things like Vudu and Netflix. However, I don't feel that that they needed to do so with this technology. I just feel that paying $600 or over that for a DVD player should include the option to show stream digital direct stuff like Vudu, Netflix, Hulu, and YouTube. So yeah. Other than that, guys, we'll have more updates, and we'll have something else, more comparisons as to your average consumer, what they like and don't like about it. But, yeah. Any other thing else you want to add? I mean, I think that that this DVD player is a good buy. Would you buy this DVD player?
Me? No, I would not, because I would not want to use... I wouldn't utilize all the features, so no, personally, I would not buy this, no.
Okay. I personally would buy it, of course, as I personally did buy it. That's just me. That's my take on it. I love it. Your average consumer, it's probably not for you. Why? Because it's just not that capable. I was thinking, as I was playing around with it the other day, guys, if your average consumer bought this and went home and tried plugging it into just your normal set-top box type setup, which is using like component video cables, you'd be so upset. It doesn't even offer that. So there's no... and I know a couple of years ago, I just upgraded from, optical... audio cables to HDMI audio cables. I mean, I was always a person that would separate my HDMI video feeds directly to the TV, because I was not going through like Marantz SR7010s and Pioneer SC99s and 97s, more or less still using Parasound Emotiva type 2-channel stuff, but that, guys, I always keep it separated. I always keep audio and video stuff separated to keep it the highest end quality that I can, and I think you're going to find that. I think audiophiles know that to have a true, audio device, you got to keep it only operating with audio, like a monoblock amplifier is going to be your best true audio device. However, your best video device is going to, not probably offer any audio as well with that. Or, if it does, it won't offer the best audio you could possibly have. So, what is the Oppo UDP 203 in my opinion? It's both of those, and it offers video and audio just the same, I feel. It offers that high dynamic range with that, the 4K up converting everything. It's just that just simply blows me away. The audio is endless. The audio capabilities of this thing are just endless. Of course, it's got the Atmos, so that's wonderful. And I'll go ahead and get you in that here just for a second. But anything else with it, you're going to be limited as well. It's got the analog RCA outputs on the back and an HDMI output, but, of course, you want to be your old type of style and go right back to optical cable going into receiver and HDMI going into TV, that's just fine. Like I said, I used to be someone that separated those as well, but, having DTS HD Master Audio and Dolby True HD, you required HDMI. So, that's really the take on it. Now, I've got the two displays here to kind of display. Of course, the Sony is a lot brighter. However, You know, anything else that we like about it, I'm gonna be using it, guys, mainly as an audio device. I mean, look at the picture quality, though. It is just amazing, and I don't think there's any other Blu-ray player that I would go with, including the Samsung and Panasonic right now at this point. However, guys, I'm gonna be using it completely proprietary as an audio device for the time being, too, because like I said, I do not have that many 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, so the high dynamic range feature just doesn't offer me that much right now. The 4K feature only is affecting me in the living room with the Sony. However, that's probably my least most popular viewing position or display is this Sony. This is more or less the community TV, and this Oppo UDP 203 is going to be sitting out here in the community room. Why? Because my router is not out here, so that is one good thing that this thing sits out here and connects to my network, because I'm digital streaming, pulling files off of it all the time, using it as an audio device in here. So say you're cleaning the house and you want to listen to audio in the living room, but you've got all your 2-channel equipment in your office and just a surround sound receiver, even a sound bar out here. Adding that Oppo UDP 203 will allow you to turn your living room without an amplifier into a living room with an amplifier, so to speak, or a media player, really. So wait for the 205 and you'll have that amplifier as well, as similar with the 103 and 105. So, anything else beyond that, guys? As I said, it's got exceptional capabilities in going to analog surround sound output. It's got its own settings. You can set frequencies at like 60, 80, 120 hertz, distances, crossovers, whatnot. And I think the sound quality is just superb on it. So I have an output volume of a variable, maximum dynamic range control and speaker configuration, So I really think that this is only going to come into play, guys. I am not someone, and this is honestly Puppy's World's recommendation for this type of stuff. I would not ever use speaker configurations and settings in my players, only in my receiver. The reason I am doing that is because for digital connections, the receiver is going to do the best possible room correction, speaker configuration, crossover mixing, equalizing you're going to be able to do. Doing it from here, you would only want to do so if you were using a completely analog setup. So if I were using an analog setup, I would go in here and actually set my distances, set my crossover at, 80 hertz. I'd have size on and all that. I'd have distance. I'd have trim. I'd have, everything. So I would be doing that, guys. And I wonder if we can go here and listen to the subwoofer real quick. Well, we're going to have to do a test tone. Well, okay. Okay, bottom line, guys, is do not set that speaker configuration if you are using a receiver. Why? Because there's no need to do that. It is only used for an an analog audio hookup. Now, do I have speaker configurations and settings and other things like DVD players, media players and stuff, and or just the receiver. Like I said, just receiver, guys, not the TV, only if you're doing things, by themselves with an analog RCA hookups. Other than that, I would leave these things alone and set your crossovers and equalization done at your receiver. Anything else, like your low frequency effects and cutoffs and stuff like that, leave to the receiver, guys. If you're not using a digital receiver, using Dolby Digital or greater or better, then you can deal with this. Then you can have fun playing around with your distances and your crossovers and stuff like that, whatnot. So, I think soon to come, guys, I think we'll be doing some stuff with the audio on this analog-wise. So we will be taking this into the office and adding the Parasound preamplifier to it, the Emotiva amplifier to it, and doing some more testing, working whatnot with the SVS speakers and have you. So we'll be doing some fun stuff, guys, with this player, and we really will be putting it to the test and putting it to the max. So there you have it. I do love the Atmos, and it's probably the best form of surround sound I've ever heard, never will hear before DTS:X comes out. So, Puppy's World thanks you. Please subscribe. Our other participant here also thanks you as well.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Stay safe, and audiophiles alike. Bye-bye.